Hello, and welcome to this special episode of the Short Term Rentals podcast. My name is Paul Stevens, editor of Short Term Rentals, and today I'm joined by the directors of the upcoming Book Direct show on the 29th and 30th of September in Barcelona, for which we, Short Term Rentals, are a media partner. Very excited to be part of it. I'm going to let my special guests introduce themselves. So we'll start with Damian Sheridan.
Good morning, Paul. Thank you very much for having us. My name is Damian Sheridan. I've known Paul and Short-Term Rentals guys for quite a while now. I've been involved in this industry for 17 years since I bought my first apartment in southern Spain. I am predominantly an SEO consultant with property managers in the short-term rental industry. And I founded this event in early 2019. We had our first conference in London, all directed to focusing on direct booking strategies. And yeah, here we are today, just about to go live with our second Book Direct show, rebranded Book Direct show, next Tuesday. So very excited.
And Deborah, same question to yourself. Please introduce yourself, your role in the Book Direct show, background in the industry.
Yes, hi, my name's Deborah Labi. I'm actually from Sydney, Australia. I've been a property manager and owner for over 14 years. And in the last few years, I've decided to branch out, and I've created a guest referral platform, and I've worked on a number of other little enterprises in the industry. There's so much opportunity, and it just drives me a bit crazy. There's so much we could do. I've been a firm believer of direct bookings from day one, because that was back in the days when OTAs were just the lead generators. So that's how I started off in the industry, and that's how I'd like to keep working. And my role in the Book Direct show has been really finding the speakers, bringing the right speakers on board, and curating that aspect of the show and helping to get word out, sharing the good word of the show.
Thank you, both of you. So in the lead up to the Book Direct show, and from speaking to business property owners within the space, how much education do you think is actually now required to inform people of the benefits when it comes to attracting direct bookings, and particularly, of course, as we're in the midst of this global pandemic? So Damian, would you like to kick things off?
Sure, Paul. Yeah. In terms of education, wow, I think it's almost endless. I have learned so much from this process of speaking, but also of all the applications that we have for people who wanted to speak as part of this. Those who are speaking and presenting, we've learned so much in terms of all of these actionable strategies that there are to generating more direct bookings, way more than I would have even remotely I've anticipated a year and a half ago. So that's the really exciting thing. Almost infinite really in terms of the amount of education there is out there. In terms of where we are at the moment, it's pretty critical. We're at a major crossroads, I believe. But there are certain things that we clearly need to be aware of now, more than before potentially. And you could include things like our flexible cancellations, our cleaning processes, our customer avatars, whether we should be looking more at medium-term stays, digital nomads, etc. So, there's a lot to process for property managers at the moment. But nevertheless, those who can survive this very tough time, there are going to be some really great opportunities that are going to open themselves up as the market becomes less saturated, if you will.
I realise that's quite a broad question. So, Deborah, how would you expand on what Damian said on the education?
Well, I would suggest that there are so many levels of experience out there. You've got the people that are just starting out in the industry, only have one property, and then you've got the ones up to with thousands. So in terms of everyone's level of experience, it's so varied. So, there will be people that will take a lot out of every session that we're offering. And there are some people that, we're already dealing with that. But this other thing, we need to learn more about that. So there is a lot of, there's a lot to know, but everyone's got different levels of experience. So, we're catering for everyone, but Yeah, those people that are brand new, they're going to take, something from every session that we have. Yeah.
And I see in the build up when you're talking about what the book direct show is going to entail, you've mentioned that you specifically don't want this to be an anti-OTA type of event as such. So how do you believe, Deborah, your experience of independent property owners, how do you believe that they can strike the balance when it comes to leveraging such sites, but at the same time not overly relying on them?
Mm-hmm. So the OTAs are marketing platforms. Basically, you have to be on all the OTAs, without a doubt, be on there. But the idea is that they will give you a guest, and it's really up to you to make sure that that guest comes back to you. So I was thinking of an analogy earlier this morning, and the OTAs are like a shopping center. So everyone comes to the shopping center to look around at all the shops. But once that customer walks into your shop, you should be wowing them with what you're offering. That next time that customer wants something that you're offering, they'll come to you. Now, whether they come direct to your shop, whether it's here or outside on a standalone on the high street, or it's online, but you have an opportunity to build that brand loyalty with that customer on your own. And I think that's what we have to strive towards. The OTAs have their brand, but we need to build our brand as well. So be on the OTA, receive their guests, but you need to be getting your own guests and also nurturing every guest you get.
And Damian, is that something you would concur with?
Absolutely, yeah. Look, the OTAs they're too important. They're for 99% of businesses out there. So really, what our message is all about diversification and making sure that property managers just know that there is an alternative out there for them. We can, it doesn't take much to jump onto Facebook groups just to see massive outcry in terms of OTAs, how people are, they're not happy with where things have gone over the last few months. They weren't necessarily happy before, and Airbnb does tend to always bear the brunt of these things. But there are alternatives out there, and that's our message. It's not anti-OTA at all. I think I've had conversations with you, Paul, in the past, and I was very much saying, this is not anti-OTA, please, if you're going to spread the message at all here, and when I see my LinkedIn views being predominantly from Airbnb and Booking.com staff, I kind of think, oh my goodness, what's going on here? But we totally appreciate what they do. Of course we do. They're just too important. But yeah, the message is there are alternatives out there. Explore them. And if you can increase your percentage of direct bookings by 1%, that's a job done. That's a great milestone to be achieved. Something to be celebrated.
And it ties in pretty well with the next question as well, because we're talking about kind of how quickly the vacation rental has developed. It's still relatively nascent as well. So to what extent do you think the rapid development of the vacation rental industry, and you can add the constant shift in trends as well to that, how do you think all of these things have contributed and impacted both on direct bookings and businesses ensuring that they can remain competitive? Damian, would you like to?
Yeah, well, look, I personally feel that entry level into our industry has become far too easy over the last 10 years. I think our markets have become super saturated, especially in urban areas. Whilst simultaneously, OTAs have done an amazing job in terms of making that operation slick and smooth for any host. So I think a few things have gone by the wayside over the last while. I think professionalization is one. I think people didn't necessarily have to focus on that, but also direct bookings. I think a lot of property managers, they didn't necessarily need to worry about direct bookings because the bookings were coming in anyway. But look, now we're at a major crossroads now, as I said before, and I think people need to be perhaps thinking about the level of control that they have over their own business, and do they want that independence? Do they want to move forward themselves, or at least get a little bit of independence away, and kind of think, who are their real partners here? So yeah, I think it ties in very much with where the industry is going. we're no longer an alternative accommodation. We're very much whether you want to call it a short-term rental or a vacation rental, or holiday rental, whatever, but it's a very established industry, but still in its infancy. And I think that's exciting. We're still very young, and we'll develop a lot despite this tough time. But yeah, I think, look, there's no doubt that direct bookings have become not necessarily on people's radar over the last, say, 8 years or so. But I think they're going to come back, and we see it already, a massive movement towards it.
I think 2020 is the wake-up call for our dependence on the OTAs. So in terms of control of our businesses, we just had a glaringly obvious experience now. Who's got control over our business? Who cancelled bookings where we had no say in what happened? So I think that was a wake-up call. Okay, do you want control back of your business? It's time to investigate direct bookings. That's the only way you're going to have full control of your business. And I think this year sort of shook a few people, and it's definitely shined a light on direct bookings. And I think now's the perfect time. And also in terms of, I've heard many a story of guests now reaching out to the property owners direct, because they want to know about the levels of cleanliness and their safety when they come to visit this property. Because the OTAs, they can say, okay, our hosts have ticked a box, they've, done this course. But I think that guests really want, out of the horse's mouth, what are you doing to protect me when I'm coming to your property? So there is that line now of guests going direct to find out. So we just need to make sure those lines stay open, and the word gets out to more guests.
And do you think like this wake-up call, as you refer to it, do you think this would have happened without the pandemic? Is it?
I think it would have been a slower ball rolling, would have been a bigger ball to get moving. But I think this pandemic has given that ball the momentum. There's been a lot more people jumping on that ball, and that ball is definitely rolling now. Definitely this 2020 has got that ball moving.
Well, talking about that, another big player that we've seen entering the vacation rental space significantly and increasingly over the past couple of years is Google. And I believe that might be something that you're discussing in the Book Direct show next week. But do you think as Google establishes its footprint in this space, do you think sort of is this a sign of the growing strength of the industry? Is it a matter of concern when it comes to protecting the ecosystem? Is it somewhere in between? Damian, would you like to sort of figure that out for us?
Sure. Yeah. Well, look, as an SEO, I'm constantly looking at Google, as we all are, in terms of what they're doing. It's a funny one, really. I mean, certainly the fact that they have now a vacation rentals tab, and you can book, at least you can find things via that route. That's indicative of where where this industry is going and how it's being recognised. But look, I mean, I think let's not kid ourselves. I mean, despite Google kind of still dipping their toes in and not having established anything definite as yet, they are an advertising agency, engine, whatever you want to call them. Their goal is to make money. Their goal is not necessarily to be sending people our way to book direct on our site. So we have to work extra hard to do that. When featured snippets are pushing our organic rankings further down on search engine results pages, it's becoming harder and harder to get found. So without wanting to be the bearer of bad news there, but it's going to become even harder. But by adapting your business, I think it's through SEO and through many other ways, through working on your Google My Business profile, which we've got some people talking about. That's a really great starting point to help yourself, and give yourself the chance of being found. But yeah, I mean, it's certainly Google's going to be, probably the biggest player sooner rather than later. And and I think we know that Booking.com has a phenomenal spend on Google in terms of PPC, and Yeah, I mean, the others do too, the other major OTAs. So it's growing by the day. What direction it's going to take, Paul, I couldn't tell you. And I don't think any other SEOs specifically in the vacation rental industry can know for sure either. But it's exciting.
And some final question. We're going to return to the actual show. So what types of, and I'm going to direct this to both of you, seeing as you're both directors. So what types of key lessons would you like the attendees of the Book Direct show to have taken away with them for their businesses by the end of the show? Is there something that you can really pick out? Deborah, would you like to kick things off with this one?
Oh, no, I think Damian wants to start this one.
Well, I mean, I think what's important here, Paul, is that no two businesses in our industry are the same. We're all at different stages in our scaling. We've got different locations, different properties, different management styles. So I mean, that's the joy in a way for me. People work in totally different ways. Similarly, when we have so many attendees joining us, we are conscious that we have to reach everyone. Albeit whatever level of experience they have. So we really want to make sure that we do hit that. We don't want people just to come away with one or two takeaways from this. We want people to come away with dozens. And we've spent, Deborah will probably be able to confirm this better than me, but we've spent probably the best part of 3 months curating this content and getting the right speakers exactly for that reason. So, whereas some conferences mates, you might hear people say, if you take away just one thing from this conference, that would be a major disappointment to us. We want people to come away saying, wow, we've got months worth of actionable takeaways. And the actionable part of that is really important as well. One thing that we've been pretty hot on with all of the presenters is to make it actionable, not to make this a technical thing whereby people won't understand it and won't be able to easily implement this into their own strategies. That kind of simple level of actionable takeaways is really important.
The biggest takeaway for me that I'm hoping everyone will get is that it's possible. Direct bookings are possible. Even though there are the big OTAs out there, you can get direct bookings. Don't be scared. You can do it. It takes work, but direct bookings are possible. And we have 50 lessons to teach you how to do it. That is
over 3 months, we might include as well. People can watch them at their own leisure over 3 months. So it's not a case of having to see them live on 1 or 2 days and then that's it.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. So between you, could you just explain when the show's taking place, how people can get tickets, etc., just so we can get that cleared up?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, Paul. Yeah, so it's next week now. Time does fly. So it begins on Tuesday, the 29th of September. That's our live day. So myself and Deborah and Gianpaolo will be conducting things live from Barcelona. And we've got 6 speakers, 6 live featured speakers on the day, talking about different strategies relating to direct bookings, all really, really excellent. And we've got a live panel as well that day. Very exciting panel with Amy, Matt, and Simon. So we implore anyone to check that out. And then day 2, all of our remaining presentations will be accessible then for all of our attendees. And as I mentioned before, they'll be valid for 3 months, so people can watch at their leisure if they're away on holiday or anything like that.
Excellent. Really
exciting. No, don't miss anything. 3 months, watch at your leisure. You can buy a ticket at any time, given that the talks are available for 3 months, but if you want to catch the live sessions live, you can ask questions to the live speakers and the panelists, then best to get your ticket in early.
Beautifully.
Yes, we'll probably include the URL in this, Paul, but if you just Google Book Direct Show, it'll all be there.
Well, we're certainly really excited to be collaborating with you as media partners for this event. And thank you very much to both Deborah and Damian for joining me on this very special episode of a Short Term Rentals podcast. I hope you've enjoyed it today.
Yes. Thank you very much, Paul. It was great seeing you. Great chatting.
Thanks, Paul. Look forward to chatting soon. Take care of yourself.
And just a reminder that you can follow all of the latest news, features and opinions from the global short-term rental industry on ShortTermRentalz.com, where you can also sign up to our weekly newsletters, which come out every Monday and Thursday. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.